Hey, what's up guys, Diplex here again. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2 and Rob's Realism mod. Hope you guys are doing good today, hope you've had a good start to the month and a good past weekend. You know, this video is actually very special to me because it's the very first video that I'm recording in my brand new office. It's actually more of a studio. Apparently, it's Otto Knows' old studio, and if you don't know Otto Knows, he is a Swedish DJ. In fact, the whole building, or the floor, used to be Avicii's studio. So there's a bunch of like platinum records for all his singles and stuff all over the walls. The studio itself and the office in its entirety is super awesome. So if you guys want to see like an office tour, let me know down below and I would love to film it. It's always nice to bring out the camera and to appear on screen every now and then instead of just sitting behind the microphone. But today, we are back with some World War II action. It's been a while since we did Rob's Realism mod, so in honor of it, I've decided to go brutal, because that's what you guys mostly prefer, and the most brutal front of them all, the most brutal fronts of them all is the Eastern Front. You know, I've had like 3 cups of coffee, and instead of making you more alert and more energized, it actually slows you down after a while, so it's making me a little trippy. Like trippy as in tripping on the words, not the caffeine. The caffeine in the kofefe. But anyway, guys, hella excited for this, so do let me know if the video quality is good. Let me know if the audio quality is good. The studio room is super isolated. It's very soundproof, so there's like no echo, there's no nothing, so everything is very clear. And do let me know if the audio and sound and video quality is good. That's my main concern. I'm not really doing it on a whim, but a brand new computer setup and brand new brand new software for the rendering, so all my old presets and settings are gone, so hopefully it's all good. But you know, we might need some fine-tuning over the coming days, but do expect daily videos, because that's kind of the whole point of me getting this office. It's for me to be more productive and for me to enjoy this work even more. Doing these kinds of videos takes a very long time, and if you're at home, it's very easy to get distracted, which ends up in there being no videos, at least not on a daily basis. So don't worry, me doing daily videos does not mean worse quality or rushed videos. It just means I can actually do daily videos in my new office because I can focus, and that's really awesome. Enough of that, guys. Sorry about that. Just wanted to brief you guys on the situation and how excited I am. I'm just going to pour myself a glass of water, because what coffee also does is it kind of dries you out a bit. Tannenberg Line, ladies and gentlemen. 1944. I do believe we're in Estonia. This battle was costly for the Soviets, to say the least. It resulted in a German tactical victory. And it's a beautiful map we're on. I'm not sure who has made it. I found it in a map pack, but I mean, it looks stunning. We've got 2 flags. We've got 1 pack 36, which is an odd bird this late into the war, but it's nice to vary things. We've got mortars, we've got machine guns, we've got reinforcements, and we even have a Hummel in the rear. Back here. So that's really nice as well. Guys, I don't think I have to do much more explaining. We're going to get this battle started, and it's going to be one hell of a fight. The Soviets are going to have little cover during their approach, but as they battle the Germans in the trenches, they're going to get closer and closer and receive more and more cover. It's going to be an awesome battle, to say the least. I hope you guys will enjoy, and do let me know what you guys want to see next by leaving a comment down below. I am planning on making a return to the Interwar mod, as well as Star Wars Galaxy at War. I want to make modern tug-of-war videos using the Donbass Crisis and Rise of Nationality mod that I used for a few videos back in December. So that's all good. Alright guys, the battle is about to begin. It's going to be interesting to see how the Soviets will do today, because this is not the first time they're attacking this part of the Tannenberg Line. As you can tell, there are plenty of craters and destroyed trenches in front of you, so they've been going at it for many weeks now. This could very well be the last week of the battle. Late summer 1944, some of the trees are starting to turn yellow as the fighting went on till August, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not sure if trees turn, you know, orange and yellow in August, but I don't know. I'm no expert, but still, they've been going at it for some time. Luckily, though, for the Russians, they have the funds, if human lives were the currency, because this is going to be a very costly battle for the attacking Soviets today. Soviet armor moving up. We have one T-34-85 and one T-34 Model 43. So there's kind of like three approaches to the German defensive lines today. We have the left field over here, currently under heavy bombardment from German machine guns and mortars. We have the right side field, which is no different in terms of German firepower. And the far right, which is kind of on the right side of this small ridge line here. There's a road leading up to the first German defensive line, and there's also a small stone wall that the Soviets will use for cover. I think this is the most likely point of entry for the Soviets in today's fight. This is what they're going to have the best chance in getting, like, to the first Soviet, or I mean the first German trench. So in many ways this is a line defense battle, because the German defenses are divided into three very separate lines of defense, one could say. This first line is part trench, part stone wall, part flak position. So the German infantry is taking cover wherever they can. We have some troops behind this scattered out stone wall by the road. And they are the first to face the attacking Soviet infantry that is right now just being pounded by mortars, machine guns, packs and flaks and rifles and all kinds of available firepower today. In fact, that Pak 36 is still active. For how long, though? It's very lightly defended right now as the well, the shield is gone, the sandbags in front of it is gone. I don't know if it's even usable anymore, but it's there. So behind it, we have the nicely positioned German mortars in these two beautiful dugouts. They are very well protected against any small arms fire or any tank fire that will be put out on the Germans today. This here's the second line. So I'm just going through the three different lines while the battle is still fresh and young, so that we don't miss out on any of the good stuff happening later on. This line is a complete trench line here on the left side and right side. And the third and final line would be back here by the Hummel. So it gets heavier and harder to take for each line, and that's usually the way a line defense works, at least in my videos, and I'm happy the map is accommodating. How are the Soviets doing? Well, as predicted, the Soviets are making good progress here on the far right side using the stone wall. The Germans can focus a very limited amount of firepower on these Soviet troops moving up here on the right side. Mostly, if not only, small arms, which is very fortunate for the attackers here. The troops moving up across the fields cannot say the same. I mean, they're being obliterated, but everyone has to play their part. One way I like to think of it is, even if there's a better way and a worse way to approach a defensive line or a point, you have to take both paths. You have to choose both options, because if you limit yourself to one, which would most likely be the best one, the Germans would refocus all their power to it, and it would instantly make it the worst one, or the only one. So, I mean, these guys are doing their job, which is making sure that the Germans are focusing on them, so that this far right side could be and can be the best point of entry. And right now, as predicted, the Soviets are making good progress. They're getting up to the first line of defense, where there are still German troops defending. I think the reason why they've gotten so far so early is because they actually managed to kill the MG-34 guy over here. But there's more German troops behind here, part of the second line, firing for full effect right now at the Soviet attackers. And mean, it's a beautiful day for a beautiful fight, right? Absolutely love it. Second wave of Soviet armor is moving up. We've got some more T-34 43s, and I believe I spotted a KV-85 back here. And this T-34 is flanking heavily right now. Oh, it lost the duel against the Flak 88, but it did take out this Pak 36. And that Pak 36 was targeting armor and infantry alike, so that is going to make things a tiny bit easier for the Soviet infantry, even though a Pak 36 isn't exactly the most dangerous asset for enemy infantry. I think the two mortars here in the rear, or actually kind of in between the first and second defensive line, are going to be the two most dangerous assets today, apart from the massive Flak 88s, because not only do they do good damage against infantry, but they're almost impossible for the Soviets attacking today to eliminate. They have to get up close. They have to throw grenades into the pit or shoot them up close, because they're out of harm's way in those deep dugouts. Okay, so a half-track with a 20mm flak has arrived, positioned itself nicely here by the turn of the road. This is just such a beautiful angle, and we can see the shells landing from the Hummel, just flying past the camera. Beautiful fight. So I have this idea. I'll explain more later on, but pay attention to how much better the video quality gets whenever the camera angle is static. It's not being moved right now, and everything appears much clearer, less blurry. As soon as I start moving it, things are going to get blurry. At least the more detailed parts are going to get blurry, like the trees, the leaves, the grass, all that stuff. The less detailed stuff, like the flat terrain and some objects, are going to remain as clear as when the camera angle is static. But I'm going to make a play on this in a future video series, including just static camera angles, cinematic shots, no music, no commentary, and believe it or not, I'm going to call it static cinematic. Thought it was just cool. A good way to make use of a time-consuming battle like this one that takes hours to set up and make. And of course, people do enjoy, some people enjoy commentary, some enjoy just the cinematic angles and action and don't want to hear me ramble on. So I'm sure some people might consider this being a video where I talk too much, but in reality I needed a bit of an outlet. I haven't really made too many videos recently, and sometimes I have things to say, okay? You know, it'll get better over time. But for those of you who don't want any of this rambling or commentary or talk at all, the future video series with the static cinematic camera angles will be your best choice. I guarantee it. You could watch both, of course, if you want to support the channel. Alright, so how are the Soviets doing? Well, we're approaching the road right now on the fields. Oh! Flak 88 down. What brought it down? Must be the recently arrived KV-2s. Oh yeah, that was a direct hit. Honestly, pretty impressive. I know it's a KV-2 and all, the range isn't too long, but it was on the move, and it knocked it out. It didn't even fire close, or hit close to it, which it could have done. It would have easily killed the crew. That 20mm, though, is holding back the attackers on the right side. No longer, because it has kept the Soviets back here for a long time, but now they will be able to cross the road in numbers and secure the first line. It is getting quite sweaty for the German defenders, let me tell you guys. I mean, even the numbers in the second and third line are starting to take a hit. At least the second one, which we can focus on right now for a second. Beautiful trench, by the way. I don't know who made this map, but whoever did, amazing work. You deserve all the credit for this map. I've literally done nothing to it, except I've moved a few sandbags, a few stone walls, but, you know, minimal work. 0.00001%, literally, so taking no credit whatsoever. KV-2 moving up on the far left side. How is the... Well, the second flak is still active. So the Germans still have a shot at denying the Russian armor any entrance, or entry rather, to the second line. That first shot is going to knock it out nicely. There is, however, a second KV-2 down there on the left side, seen from the German perspective. It might just remain down there as a static, you know, artillery piece. No, it's moving up. We will find out if this Flak 88 gets the message to focus fire on it before it's too late. Damn. There's still a few German guns in this first line, but the Soviets are getting way closer now. Ooh, that's a PPSH, right? I love it. So, late war Soviet infantry, or, you know, at least 1944, we're talking shock army units, guards army units. We're going to see more diversified infantry weapons, like the squads in 1944 have more automatic weapons, of course, than the squads in, say, 1941 or 42. For the Germans, the K98 remained the main weapon throughout the year. I'm sure the Soviets considered the Mosin Nagant to be the main, weapon, of course. But they replaced the MP40s with the STG-44s, but they didn't replace the K98. They were going to, but they didn't because there were other issues like ammo shortages and whatnot. But they were intending to. But the Soviets handed out more PPSHs and SVT-40s and whatnot, so you'd have like mounted, guardsmen, or guards army troops and guards armor and shock army troops that would have, entire squads with automatic weapons, with PPSHs and the 43s with the foldable stocks and everything. Pretty brutal to say the least. So the Soviets have now reached the second line. Very few, albeit. Not too many infantrymen have made that progress, but we have more troops moving up now. There goes the second KV-2, so it has been eliminated. No more armor is making any threats to the German defenders, which is good, but it might be a little too late. They've done so much damage already. So we're going to see some cool close-quarter fighting now. Hand grenades are being thrown. The mortars are firing danger close as well to keep the Soviets at bay. They are so close now to getting into the dugouts and eliminating the mortar crews themselves, which would be devastating for the German defense. These mortars are just providing so much firepower right now, and I think they're responsible for the majority of Soviet casualties at this point. Of course, that Flak 88 is firing HE shells at the Soviet attackers. The third line right now is kicking into effect. We've got some MG-34s and other types of weaponry. I hear more cars back here. What's going on? Oh, that's the Hummel. Hummel just turning around. There we go. I spent like half a minute focusing on it, so it paid off. Nice, and that's a big impact, distinguishable from the flaks and the mortars, of course. Look at the amount of Soviet infantry rushing up the hill now on the right side. That's brutal. So many troops making it up the trench now. Many are entering the second line. Some German troops are still alive and defending. And this is turning out to be some close-quarter fighting. The third line is back here. It is doing pretty well. It's been out of harm's way from any of the Russian or Soviet armor so far. Look at this, guys. Sorry I can't zoom in. I still haven't gotten a new mouse. I will as soon as I... Oh, that's a hand grenade. In fact, that's a trade. There are so many Soviet troops here. I hear more vehicles here on the right side. Oh boy, we've got some German reinforcements arriving in the nick of time. Will it be enough to hold back the Soviet attackers? I'm not sure. The game will decide. Oh yes. That's awesome. Aufstehen, los! So about a platoon of German infantry is now going to join the fight. Ein Zug. That's going to save the lives of many troops here in the third and final defensive line. It's even going to push some of the Soviets back. They saw the influx of reinforcements. Oh, and that's the Hummel now focusing on the left side, where there are way more Soviet defenders, or attackers rather, than on the right side, which has quieted down a bit, I have to say. No, there's an influx of troops here too. See, as soon as the firepower swaps to the good approach, it is instantly turned into the bad approach. And that is my theory, and I suppose it's a very logical one, that you have to choose all angles of attack. Not exactly all, but, 80%, 90%. You have to make the enemy not focus on one set side that they will know is the best approach. They simply have to divide their firepower, and sometimes you want to funnel the troops into what you want the enemy to consider is the best approach, but you have all your guns sighted on that approach, and it's going to turn into a kill zone. But so this is, the attackers here on the left side are given just a moment of peace and quiet, but the Germans are quick to adjust their fire, and it's going to kind of even things out here. Let's just zoom down as close as we can here. Now we got some dynamic close-quarter fighting here among the trenches between the German and Soviet troops. Hand grenades are being thrown. Body parts are being thrown. In a set of a dozen different discombobulated pieces. What is it? Discombobulate? Discombobulate? I'm not sure what that means. But it does not mean dismember for sure. MG-34 being used up close. This is pretty awesome. The Germans might just push the Soviets back. Oh! This is awesome! Damn. This is exactly why I want to take every single battle here that I make and release a second version of it the morning after. Like tomorrow morning, I release the static cinematic of this. 15 minutes of fighting, no commentary, static angles where everything appears so much clearer, everything is so much more high quality, and as a matter of fact, big angles from above like this actually makes the battle easier to follow, I really approve of that idea. Approve of it. Alright. Right side is looking pretty good so far. I don't really see any big numbers of Soviet troops moving up here. We've got about a squad advancing here. The center is pretty quiet. It's too open, too little cover. And the rest are focused here on the right side. But it looks like the German weapons are the ones being heard the most right now. Bullet impacts everywhere. I mean, it's a kill zone for either faction. It's so rapid as well. It's so violent. It's such a high tempo of fighting. I mean, so many automatic weapons. I gotta warm my voice up. I haven't been doing some commentary in a long time, so I feel like I've got a tiny bit of a speech impediment, but nothing too annoying. Nothing I gotta start over for. I used to do that all the time. As soon as I said something wrong, I'd even edit it out. But new year, new me. I gotta stop caring about those minor faults. I mean, I almost get this compulsive, behavior to sound perfect, to make sense all the time, and it's impossible to make sense all the time. I'm not a robot. So, I watch like TV news shows and interviews and radio shows, and they get it wrong sometimes, and they correct themselves afterwards, and you don't think about it. But why do you think about it yourself? I don't know. I do, at least. That commissar was shot dead. I believe that was a political officer. Looked like it. He had the blue trousers. Guys, I think we're going to take a step back. This fight is going to continue for some time. But it's clear the Soviets will not win today. The third line is, you know, intact. It's fully intact. The Hummel is still firing. The right side is doing well. It is also fully intact. There's a few Soviets attacking up the hill, though. It's actually just interesting to follow and watch. So we're going to swap angles for a second. Focus on this flank. Now the mortar crew is being attacked. I think now is a good time to take a look at casualties. It's not going to change too drastically. The Germans are pushing the Soviets back on this side. We're seeing grenades being thrown. It looks like the Soviets are starting to leave the trench, and the Germans are now entering it. So that's a pretty clear sign of what's going on the German left flank. How is the right side doing? Well, one mortar is still alive and active. In fact, I think now's a good time to take a look at how many casualties these guys have inflicted on the Soviet attackers. This one has killed 48 men. This left one has killed 37. I mean, that's over 80 men. Over 90 men killed. Good number. Or wait, is it? No, it's not. It's, wait, 37, 48. That's 85. That's a good number, though. Good number. The flak here, though. 56 and 5 tanks down, but the main gun is broken. Oopty-doopty. So it's not going to be doing any more damage unless the gunner gets out and repairs it, which he would do in a matter of seconds. The Hummel. 69. Good targets. What about some, like, individual soldiers? Do we have any super warriors over here? Most of these guys don't even have any kills. 2, 1, alright. But right, to the bodies on the ground. We're going to mark the Soviet casualties in red. I think that's appropriate. And the German casualties in yellow. And I mean, there are so many bodies left on the ground right now. And that is excluding all the ones that have been destroyed and turned into little pieces by all the explosive weaponry in today's fight. I mean, it's just insane. They're everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's dead Russians and Soviets, rather, and German troops. I mean, it's pretty spectacular. And somehow it feels realistic. During these 30 minutes soon of fighting, or 25 to be exact, over 500 men have been deployed, which seems like a logical number. Perhaps not in this tight a space. You know, perhaps in 4 to 5 times this large an area, you could probably displace that number, but I mean, yeah, brutal. Guys, it's late here. I've been working all day. I think it's time to wrap this one up. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the feedback, all your opinion of the my idea in terms of the static cinematic series, as well as the audio and video quality of this video. If that's all up to the usual standards, then I would be, you know, very thankful. And I'm hopeful it is, so that I don't have to change too many things around. Hope you guys liked the battle. Hope you found it awesome. I certainly did. And let me know what you guys want to see next. Alright guys, this has been Diplex. I am signing out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ciao.